Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. I wasn't sure whether I was going to make a video today, but I decided to do so. Um, I went swimming earlier actually. And I'm really knackered as well. Well, I'm not knackered now, but swimming is quite knackering. I was knackered at the time, but anyway, well, at least I kept up with my exercises because the gym has recently reopened. But yeah, so and the weather is quite nice and sunny outside. But anyway, I thought I'd talk about one of my dreams, if you like, as I often do. And I know some people, but some people might call it a pipe dream. But I was wondering whether this would be possible, like what I've been talking about, trying to bring together people from like indigenous / native, whichever term you want to call it, people from the Americas. And I was wondering if it would even be possible or feasible to, like, I don't know why, but I sort of have a sort of part of me is a bit pessimistic about believing whether it'd be possible to get indigenous people from places like Bolivia or Argentina or Brazil, especially with like a really right-wing president, Bolsonaro or whatever his name is, creating their own businesses, their own startups, and even SMEs and things like that, becoming SMEs and things like that. So I'd love to hear what you think about whether it would be possible to help and support indigenous people, native people, whichever term you like to use, from countries like Bolivia, Argentina, Peru, and places like that. And really, in a way, I suppose the question could be why not? Why would it not be possible to support people like that? Because if you hear like the problems Aborigines in Australasia or Native Americans face, there's still quite a few indigenous people from the Americas, from America itself, sorry, and certainly in Canada, and even Aborigines in Australia who have set up their own businesses. So I think, why couldn't those successes, as small as they might be or as rare as they might be, why couldn't they be replicated, sorry, for people from across the Americas? So I hope the successes that have been made in America itself and Canada could be replicated for the rest of the Americas and the indigenous communities. Yeah, so I'd love to hear what you think about that, and how you think it would be possible. And maybe, like, as I often say, if I make any money from these videos where I'm talking about indigenous people, it could be allocated to the indigenous people. Like, if I could make donations to indigenous people in the future, indigenous people in the Americas, in this case. As I said before, I'm quite wary to use the word indigenous, because, like, any group can probably be indigenous to one, to some. Every person is probably indigenous to somewhere, as you said, from much like me, perhaps. But on a serious note, yeah. So I'd love to see if it's possible, and maybe to take on what I feel is, part of me feels like it's an impossible dream, but maybe like the UN or international organizations could talk about what rights their governments in Bolivia or Argentina or Peru or places like that should give to their people, to their indigenous people, sorry, and how entrepreneurship might be a way to help them actually, funny enough, even preserve some of their cultures and history, and also certainly empower them. So on Friday I talked more about the supporting women or girls in business, but now I want to talk about generally supporting people to start their own startups. So I'd love to see, like, what organizations could support them financially, and maybe even, like, provide mentors and things like that. So anyway, I hope I made some sense with this video and you enjoyed it. And in a minute or so, I'm going to take the dog out for a walk. So I thought I'd just upload a quick video with this idea, and I'd love to hear whether you think it's possible, or, like, even if people say it's not possible, then maybe in the future, like, we could prove those people wrong. And, like, even the negative part of myself, which thinks maybe this is not possible, maybe it's pipe dream. But as I say, if there are successful startups in America itself and Canada, then why not in Brazil or Argentina for indigenous people from those countries as well? Like, I also dream, like, to network them together, both politically and in terms of starting up, as I say, their own startups, and, like, also other things like helping them to get into their own music career, become singers, songwriters, singer/songwriters, and things like that. So I think that covers everything for now. I didn't quite get round to. I'm not sure if I'm going to get round to. Maybe next week I'll talk about like Indigenous people from the Americas in sports a bit more. I know I covered that a little bit before, but I hope to cover it in more details. And also Indigenous people from the Americas, especially like soccer academies, and could they be set up and benefit people from Indigenous parts of the Americas and help them get into soccer or football or whichever term you like to call it. Because of my alliterations, it's Saturday, I'm calling it soccer. But anyway, so have their own soccer academies. Obviously, it would be in parts of the Americas, so they'd probably call it soccer, especially in America itself. And I would dream for that to benefit the Indigenous people from the Americas, but also like as an Italian football fan, to benefit Serie A clubs or Italian football generally, and also Celtic as well. Like, so yeah, I'd love to see that in the future. But anyway, as ever, I'd love to hear what you think, and I'm out. Peace and love.